Here's how I plan to make about $380,000 in my business in 2025. Hey, my name is Tremaine, and welcome to my channel where I am documenting my journey to launching a full time writing business, writing a musical, and publishing fiction and nonfiction Christian books. A little bit of background: I am relaunching my business in 2025, and instead of going back into content development and all of the myriad ways that I was operating before, I'm going specifically into writing services for Christian event producers in either the educational, promotional, or entertainment space. So this is anything from like a digital product launch to a concert or a musical or a conference or a seminar. And I'm also really interested in working with nonprofits who are also hosting events. So, like fundraising drives, donor events, those types of things. I want to help more believers to get their hands on the resources that they need to fulfill their mission in the earth. That being said, I didn't pull the number $380,000 out of thin air. Like, there are specific things that I need to pay for in my business in the short term, and then longer term items that I need to begin building up for. And so that $380 encompasses all of that. I will tell you more about that right now. So scripture says in Habakkuk 2:2 to write the vision and make it plain upon tablets that those who read it can run. And I'm fully persuaded that I haven't been running because I haven't been reading anything that tells me where to go. Frankly, it's the same with a lot of the clients that I've worked with over the years. And so we're going to be doing things a little bit differently and make it plain right now. In Luke 14:20 and 29, it says, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest haply, after he laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him." You know what that's talking about? It's literally talking about starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And I don't know about you, but I've been very guilty of that a lot. You know why? Because I didn't have a plan. And so, you know what we're going to do right now? We're going to make a plan. Or at least I'm going to tell you about the one that I just made. I discovered that this is why the enemy has been able to use self-sabotage and procrastination to run me up on break, because he knew, and I also knew, that I didn't count the cost. I didn't take the time to really assess what was required to get or to help me accomplish the goal that I had set out. And instead of taking my goals and my plans and my visions and my dreams back to God and rolling both my work and my cares on Him, I sit in my bed, or I would sit in my bed or in my car or in a corner somewhere, crying, overthinking, freaking myself out for the entire year, and absolutely nothing would get done. Nothing at all. I have achieved the same level, the same kind of success the last few years of my business as when I first started. Very little growth, if at all. And there's reasons for that. One of the main reasons was that there was no vision that was plain, so I couldn't run. We ain't doing that again. So anyway, let me break down with this 380K. So about 55,000 of that is just strictly my salary. And this isn't my salary that I'm going to be able to collect in 2024, although that would be great. Just saying. This is really my salary that I'm looking to collect in 2025. Because I'm starting literally from scratch in my business, I don't have capital. I don't have a chunk of money that I can throw at my business. And so right now, I'm making plans for the money that will come instead of the money that I have right now. So right now, I'm not planning on taking a salary. All of the marketing and whatnot budget that I have will have to come as I make money in my day job and through any work that the company does. I have to build up a marketing fund. I have to build up all of these other funds for things that I want to do. And so, as great as 55K sounds, that's a 2026 goal, not 20. I'm assigning myself a salary from my business. Previously, I was making so little in the business that it only really made sense to go 50-50 with the business. Like they said, you should never take more than 50% of whatever the business makes. And because I was so inconsistent in my business, because I was charging so little, because there was so much time in between when the business made a sale previously, that it only ever really made sense to take about 50% of what the business was making. I don't want to do that anymore, and I definitely don't want to do that in this business. So I am, first of all, committed to keeping my day job until this business makes more sense than going to my day job for 6 hours out of my day. And then even after that happens, I will have built up enough savings that I will still not need to take a salary from the business. That's my goal. That's my plan. That's what I want to happen. That's what we're looking at. I'm really hoping that by assigning myself a salary and aiming for this large revenue and really profit goal, that it will force me to take the actions necessary to make the money in my business, so that there's actually a pool of funds to pull from and do all of these things with in 2020. Then the second thing, and I'm very excited about this, the second thing that is coming out of the 380K is I want to start a grant for small businesses, for local small businesses here in the Bahamas, and I've earmarked about $100,000 to that. That just sounds like a beautiful number, like $100,000 grant. Of course, everybody won't get the same amount. I'm thinking 100 divided by 4, because I want to split it into 4 different persons, like 4 persons per year, right? 4 recipients. That's the word I was looking for, per year. And so each person would get about $25,000, which I think is still a respectable amount of money for a grant. And so one of the, just nothing about this grant is set in stone just yet, but I want this grant to specifically be for Christian business owners who have demonstrated excellence in their business. So they are able to demonstrate that they are undergoing training in their business, either the entrepreneur themselves or they're training their staff. They have to demonstrate a year-over-year growth already in their business. They need to show me like how many different things have they, by things like training and investments, that's the word, how many different ways have they invested in their business thus far. This isn't just for whoever can apply, right? Your application actually has to demonstrate that you have a track record of investing in your business, and that this grant would be a furthering of something that you're already doing. That's just like some of the thought process that I have around this grant thus far, but that is something that I'm looking forward to doing in 2026. Listen, when I can put out that first flyer that there's a grant that you can apply for, I will be ridiculous, okay? Absolutely ridiculous. So another $100,000 I've earmarked for like employee salaries, benefits, trainings, and like retreats, right? Like I fully believe in the greatest asset for your company is not your intellectual property, but it is the people that you have in your business. And I've always been rather feral about the ability to employ people. It's like my friends know that I love, like, when people daydream about what they're going to do with millions of money, like millions of money. When people daydream about what what they would do if they suddenly came into a bunch of money, like I envision hiring people, like hiring people and like going into stores and like paying people's bills, like paying people's groceries bill, going into the utility places, paying for your water bill, paying for your light bill. Listen to me. That is the stuff that I dream of, right? That's the stuff that I live for. And so to be able to hire people is a dream. It is something that I absolutely cannot wait to do. And a part of me preparing for that is building up this employee fund, right? So that's employee benefits. I want to be able to buy insurance for my employees, and not just like rinky dink insurance, like health insurance, but also dental and vision, because those things are important. And I'm a glasses girly, and I think dental and vision should be par for the course, right? but also training and like team building stuff. Like I want to invest in the work environment and the culture in my business. And so I'm building a fund for that straight out the bat, or straight off the bat, and straight out the gate. See, I mixed my two idioms together. I don't have any employees right now, but one thing I will have to be careful of is the desire to dip into this fund as I build it for my contractors, right? Because right now I don't have employees, but I would be working with contractors between now and then because I have it outsourced. Well, outsourced. I have it linked, earmarked is the word I want to use, that I want to outsource about $50,000 worth of work. And so what I know going forward is that it will be a challenge to remain in that $50,000 budget without dipping into the employee culture budget or the employee fund, because I intend to work with my contractors as if they were my employees and treat them as I would be treating my employees. It's because I don't really have the budget yet to do that type of operation. It's going to be incumbent upon me to be wise with my spending, right? So again, that's another 50K of outsourcing. That's something that I'm absolutely passionate about. I live in the Bahamas, and I believe that we are some of the most ridiculously talented people on this planet. And so I want to pull in as much of that creativity as I can into my business, into my client work, into the marketing and branding for this business. I don't even know all of the ways that I want to bring it in, but I do want to bring it in. And so I've set that goal, and I'm excited to work towards it. The last about 700, the last about 75K is split into like short-term monthly expenses, insurance that I want to buy for the company, contingency funds for client work, a fund for like tech upgrades that I would have to do as I'm using this laptop and all these stuff. Like we're gonna have to replace mice and keyboards and B drives, terabytes, etc., etc. So I want to have a fund that I can pull from. That may really just be the company savings. I haven't decided yet. And then a marketing and advertising budget. I am excited to build that. I'm excited to have a marketing and advertising budget because as a freelancer, I really didn't have that. And I can imagine how much further the business could go if I'm not doing everything organically. Yeah, I'll leave it as that. So while no, I don't have these funds right now, I am absolutely aware that if I never plan for them, chances are I'm never going to actually accumulate those funds. And so as the business makes money, I will have to quickly, swiftly, with the swiftness, move those funds into the different bank accounts. I don't have the different bank accounts just yet, just because opening bank accounts here in the Bahamas it's a process. Okay, it's a process. Bear with me. So, how I plan to make $380,000. I intend to focus on 4 things in my business this year, right? One, I want to implement a monthly challenge that has a paid tier as well as a free tier, and then a VIP tier. You have probably seen Myron Golden do this, and then really this is a Myron Golden technique that he teaches to his students. I actually took part in his Make More Offers challenge, not last year, I think it was the year before. I still have my notes and whatnot from that, and so I'm building my challenge from my notes from that, because that's one of the things he talks about. But also his name is Omar El Takori. He has a podcast called The Department. It's a great podcast. If you haven't heard of it, definitely go watch it if you're business minded. He also has a monthly challenge, and seeing his monthly challenge reminded me of the Myron Golden challenge, because I was like, I've seen this before. Remember that I went to the Myron Golden Challenge. Remember that I have notes from that. And I was like, oh, wait, we need to circle back to this. Full transparency, I have a lot of content that I paid for. I'm not even going to get into what I just got through, like ridiculous amounts of research and like consuming people's content. I just mean the stuff that I've paid for. I've, over the last 10 years, I've spent close to $15,000 on like trainings and master classes and digital products, etc., etc. And I've implemented next to zero of it, right? And so one of the main goals for me, this isn't a goal video, but one of the main goals for me in 2025 is to implement stuff. Just implement it, okay? Instead of it sitting in your Google Drive and in your Dropbox, implement the stuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. So monthly challenge, right? That's the first thing that we're gonna do. Next, I wanna do a quarterly workshop. So each quarter I wanna do an in-person workshop. And I think I also wanna do an online workshop, and I'm on the fence about that because my online audience is at a level of sophistication. Literally anybody that I approach in the online space is going to be at a different level of sophistication than any of the entrepreneurs or nonprofit owners that I would reach locally. And that's simply locally there's less of a value on information, whereas elsewhere people are aware, even vaguely, that the information that they need is out there somewhere, and so they've spent more time researching, they've spent more time consuming content, and so they're at a different level of sophistication than anybody that I would meet locally. And for that reason, I have to decide if I want to do, I doubt that I will be able to do the same workshop in person as I would do online. The audiences are just too different. So I have to make that decision. Where am I? Next, I want to create more digital products, right? Specifically, I'm talking about pre-made messaging and strategy packs. Essentially, what I want to do is download this brain into themed packs of resources. So scripts, emails, templates, campaigns, slogans, etc., that people can use for their events. And probably less themes, more along the line of marketing strategy, messaging strategy, and templates, revenue plans, which is like all of the different ways that you can make money from this one event, whether that is a promotional event like a launch or a educational event like a workshop. Digital products is number 3. And then the custom event messaging services, which would be the only service that I will offer. I cannot allow myself, or let me not say the only service that I will offer. I will say that it will be the only service that I will market. Once I have the client, will I be able to do other services on the back end for them? Absolutely. But the only service that I'm offering is event messaging services. Those are the 4 things that I intend to do this year in order to make money. So the monthly challenge, the quarterly workshop, the digital product packs, and the custom messaging services. Because I need to make about $380,000 after taxes and fees, I am aiming for about $100K to $110K for each one of these revenue streams. So I just had to do some quick maths, and I realized that I need to make a lot more money to be able to meet this goal. Because here in the Bahamas, I have to pay 10% VAT once I go over $100,000 in revenue. So even if I made $400,000 in revenue, I would be $20,000 short of my $380,000 goal, because I would have to pay $40,000 in VAT tax, right? And so, no, I lied. I need to literally make about $430,000 in order to make $380,000 in profit after taxes and fees, which means I now need to round these figures up And that puts me at around 111, 110K per income stream. Now, these are round figures. I've said it before and I will say it again. Math and we are not good friends. And so I like to work with round figures instead of strict numbers because this gives me some wiggle room, right? So if I need to do a little bit more in one area and do a little bit less in another area, my math still comes out roughly in the same hemisphere of the rounding scale. Okay, so my numbers may be a little bit off when it comes to actuality, but I think I'm still in a pretty decent place with this figure. So for more clarity, for me, the first set of money that I start to make in this business will go towards the expense account and the marketing account, because those two things are the most important things starting right out the gate, right? We need money to make sure that we still have access to Canva and Dropbox and all of the other tools that I use for writing. And then we need to make sure that we actually have money to put towards advertising and marketing so that we can actually get the clients, so that we have a consistent loop of revenue generation. Okay, the next set of money, once those budgets are met, will go toward populating the grant fund and the outsourcing fund, because again, the outsourcing is going to be important because the more I can take off my plate, the more energy I can actually have to devote to the marketing, which again feeds back into the lead generation loop. The last things that are going to be funded are the employee fund, because I don't have plans or necessity at this moment to hire full-time employees. And then my salary, that's going to be the last thing that we put any attention on, because I need to make sure all of these other things are taken care of first. Have you subscribed yet? Have you subscribed yet? Because you absolutely should, because this is looking like a series. So if you have not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button so that you can get updates when I post part 2 of this series. I actually think I'm going to create another video about this, specifically breaking down how I get from my quarterly revenue goal to my monthly revenue goal, and then from that revenue goal to how many sales I need to make in order to hit that goal, based on the 4 areas that I'm going to be focusing on in my business, the 4 revenue streams, I should say, that I'm going to be focusing on my business in 2025. The different revenue goals for those revenue streams per month, and then the amount of leads that I'm gonna need in order to make that amount of sales. It sounds a lot more complicated than it is, because I'm probably explaining it poorly right now. But if you're interested in seeing that video and how I break that math down, stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be the first to know when I post it. Okay, so that's all for this video right now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.